After Democrat senator says Russia hacked Florida election, Rick Scott eats his lunch. By US4Trump.com. Florida, the Sunshine State, is in a heated battle for the midterm elections. There's a lot at stake. Specifically, Florida represents 29 electoral votes for the 2020 election. Musical chairs in Florida. Governor Rick Scott, Republican of Florida who supports the Trump agenda, is now running to unseat three-term incumbent Senator Bill Nelson, a Democrat of Florida. Governor Scott wants his seat in D.C. He is running against 75-year-old Democratic Senator Bill Nelson. Congressman Representative DeSantis, another pro-Trump supporter, is running for Rick Scott's position as governor. The race is heating up and the Democrats are lying and then hiding from the Florida people. Is that any surprise? No. Recently, Senator Bill Nelson made allegations that Russians hacked Florida's voting system while blazing on the campaign trail. Tallahassee's local station, WCTV, reports that Nelson said twice in a week with his rhetoric in an attempt to undermine his competitor, Governor Scott. WCTV reports they've, meaning Russians, already penetrated certain counties in the state and they now have free rein to move about, said Nelson. When asked to elaborate, he called the information classified. Yeah, we're not surprised with that either. And when you ask them to elaborate, yeah, it's classified information, you know. But we know that the Russians infiltrated, yeah. Florida's current Governor Scott, who is running against Nelson for his seat on Capitol Hill, is invited on to Fox News for clarity on what happened. Scott is on Fox to clear the allegations that Russia hacked the elections, which were falsely made by Nelson. For the record, Fox News reached out to Nelson, but his team did not respond, said the Fox anchor. Yeah, they just spread the lies, and then they don't come out and answer questions based on those lies that they spread. So Governor Rick Scott slammed Senator Nelson for his false allegations that Florida was hacked by Russians. Senator Scott said, as governor, he took Nelson's claim seriously, and so his team acted upon Nelson's claim. The Fox News anchor asked if Scott has heard anything in his capacity as governor. Scott replies, not only have we heard nothing, we reached out to Homeland Security, reached out to the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee, we've reached out to the FBI, and no one can confirm what he said. Let's take a quick listen. Fox News, Governor Scott, we need to have term limits.
And making major allegations this week that Russians hacked Florida's voting systems without providing specific information because he said it was classified. Nielsen tweeted this: I and several of my Senate colleagues are trying to make sure state officials are aware of the ongoing Russian threat, so they take the steps necessary to safeguard our elections. It's unfortunate that some Florida officials would try to use this.
Wow, but state officials are demanding proof, saying they have, quote unquote, zero information to back up Senator Nelson's claims, including our next guest, who's running to take Nelson's Senate seat. He's Florida's Republican Governor, Rick Scott. He joins us live. Thanks for coming in this morning, Governor.
Good morning.
Good morning. He didn't say it was a threat. He said that the chair and the vice chair of the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee said the Florida election systems have been penetrated and Russians are free to move around. He was clear that it was happening. Then when he was asked for details, he said, oh, it's classified. Then on Friday, when we asked for more information, he said, well, the administration is withholding information. So one of the two things is happening. Either he's simply made it up, or he's released classified information. That's the only two things that can happen.
That should not be out there in the public domain.
We want to have free, fair elections in the state. We did in 2016. We spent a lot of money to make sure that we have a system that's very difficult to penetrate, hopefully impossible to penetrate, And now he is saying either it happened or he simply made it up. It's one of two things.
Yeah.
He needs to be clear, tell us what happened.
So he is claiming that Russians hacked some of the voting systems in the state that you are governor of, by the way. You would think that you would have access to this, if at the very least have heard about it. Have you heard nothing?
Not only have we heard nothing, we've reached out to Homeland Security, we've reached out to the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee, we've reached out to FBI, and no one can confirm what he said. So now he's basically clammed up. He won't talk to any Floridians. You can't find him. He won't talk to the media, and he's trying to act like he didn't say this. But he said it happened, and then he said it's classified, and then he said, oh, they won't release information. The federal government won't.
We had one of our producers reach out to Senator Nelson's office last night. We haven't heard back. Obviously, if he wants to come on anytime this coming week and respond to you, we want to have him on, want to be fair in this Florida Senate battle they have going on. But what do you think is going on here? Obviously, you're in a heated political battle with Senator Nelson, but when you suggest a moment ago maybe he's making this up, are Democrats just trying to scare people? We saw it with Russia and the president. They threw the election. They say that with no evidence of collusion. Is this now spreading to the states where they throw it out there and raise doubts in the public's mind about Russia's influence?
Well, I assume he's desperate. He's a career politician that doesn't have anything to run on, but this right to vote, people have died fighting for the right to vote. This is important. They shouldn't be out there trying to scare citizens of my state. Our primary is going on right now. Absentee ballots are out. Early voting starts on Monday. Our primary is later this month, and then the general is in November. I want to make sure people know that their vote matters in this state.
Yeah, so you are hoping to make a move to Washington, running for Senate. The job's very different from being governor. You get to take months off or weeks off at a time. You don't get to do that when you are governor of a state, as you know well. That is something that you are pushing on the campaign trail. You're pushing to make Washington work again. Tell us what that's all about.
Well, I put out a few proposals. One, we need to have term limits. We have it for president, for most governors, in my state for House and Senate. We need to have a 2/3 majority of Congress vote to raise your taxes and fees. That's on the ballot in Florida for my legislature. We need to give the president, Republican or Democrat, a line item veto so they can save money. Watch how the money is spent. We need to have, if you vote to shut down government, you shouldn't, if you're a congressman or senator and you vote to shut down government, you shouldn't continue to get paid. No budget, no pay. And then work full time. I mean, this is, if you want to get paid full time, senators make $174,000 a year.
Governor, if you're elected senator, I feel like you're going to be a very unpopular senator if you start saying you need to work full time.
I'm going to work hard.
He's sitting alone at the lunch table. No, it is a great cause. Great to have you on, and good luck
Thanks for
with the
Governor.
race.
As I mentioned, Senator Nelson can come on and respond anytime this week. We appreciate it.
Even he says they have no message. So what do? They spread propaganda. Lies that the Russians. No, take a look in the mirror, morons. It's you have no message. You are a total failure. We're hip to your corruption. People are sick of it. And I hope Scott is who's putting this out, they get the message, unbelievable. It's like you can't even make this stuff up anymore. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.